We know the story of our land by the stories of people. What they did shaped what we've become. But beyond the pages of history, these were ordinary people. If they appear as more than legends, it is because we see a bit of ourselves in them. After all, they were just folks. Hi, I'm Bill Landry. Welcome to Heartland Tonight. We have only to look at our friends and neighbors to find a bit of the heroic still walks among us. We learn from them. We laugh with them. We're fortunate that they share their lives with us. Tonight we meet Levi Collins, a mountain man, jack of all trades. Researchers unravel a hidden history of a people. Doc Butler takes us on his rounds, and the tragic tale of a scout troop in the flood of '29. Fred Brown spent a lifetime in education that didn't stop in retirement. His learning continued with devoted study of hollies as natural curiosity led him.
I decided early after World War II that I could best serve my purpose and my family and probably work with some other people by living where I grew up, back home in Tennessee.
Just look next door. That's where you'll find Fred Brown. In his gardens, or along a sleepy street in Alcoa close by, caring for his family's home place. It's not a grand expanse of land, in a neighborhood like many others, a lot at the end of a lane. But like the passing on of a legacy, to Fred Brown, it's important. The oldest of 11 children, Fred Brown still lives across the neighborhood from where he grew up. A retired educator, student of George Washington Carver at Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, Fred's a self-taught expert on deciduous hollies. But today he's working at his old home place, where we'll catch a glimpse of the world through a garden of family memories.
Your daddy planted this for the little things?
Yeah, the little wildlife area. He called it a bird sanctuary, a place where birds could nest and so forth, and rabbits could go. And my father was part Cherokee. He grew up with that tradition. He hunted and he fished and he liked the woods, and most of us took that from him and from my mother. Even after all of us left home, my mother had a lot of children around the house. And, a lot of them called them Mother Brown. Neither one of them spent a lot of time talking about racial backgrounds and so forth. They just took the world as it is and worked with it. I don't know. I think generally in this nation, beauty in a yard really means most of the time to mow it just as low as you can.
Is this the whatnot area?
The whatnot, the catch-all, a place where if you get a plant and don't have time to set out, you stick it in the ground and wait till later. And
these are phlox?
Yes, phlox and canna.
This is the area that your daddy developed for the garden?
Yeah, this is where he had a vegetable garden. The Bermuda grass is taken over.
What is this plant?
That's Ilex cassini, a yellow fruiting variety.
You've pruned that where it'll come up in 2 or 3?
I pruned it and made it grow like that so I can make cuttings by putting sphagnum moss around it and covering it.
Who showed you how to do that?
I read it out of a book. I've never seen it done. I just read it out of a book and started trying. Most people can learn. Now, the foolishness about talking to your plants and playing music and all that has extremely limited value. It probably does more for the person than it does for the plant.
Don't you talk to your plants?
I've cussed them every once in a while. I think if I played the music for most of my plants, I'd play the blues. I wouldn't play rock or anything.
You've never moved too far from here, have you?
Oh, no, I've lived other places, but I came back.
To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wildflower. It's a gift given Fred Brown and his to pass on. Next, we'll visit Levi Collins.
Oh, I like to make a basket for someone that wants one to keep. They appreciate it, but for someone to resell, I don't care a thing about letting them have them.
Jesse Jones is as sure of his opinions as he is about how to make his old-time white oak baskets. Except for nails, all of the materials in Jesse's baskets he makes personally. Not many craftsmen can make that claim.
Some fellows asked me where I ordered my stuff from. I said I go to the woods and carry it out.
There is a responsibility to his craft that Jesse doesn't take lightly. He never starts a basket he doesn't finish.
If I ain't notion making one, I don't commence it. You don't commence in a hurry on a basket. I think the old-time egg basket's a little bit rough to show that you're wood. I just like them a little better than I do that fancy stuff. Probably wouldn't be here when your children was old people. Take a little pains to the basket, make something worthwhile.
Levi Collins was out of that American original mold, the jack of all trades, mountain style. In this age of specialization, self-reliant folks are hard to come by. That's why on a hot summer's day, it's kind of refreshing to stop in and visit with an old-fashioned Tennessean. He's a jack of all trades who even makes his own music. Levi Collins of Cherry Bottom, Tennessee.
Hello, Levi.
Oh, Bill, how we doing?
Tradesman, craftsman, laborer. Levi Collins embodies an age not so far removed from our own, when doing it yourself was the only way to get by.
You beat this out thin.
Levi seems to have kept every tool he's ever used. They are the odds and ends of a lifetime of working with his hands. Some are more odd than others.
That'll get us there, won't it?
Yeah, but I don't know what it's for. Some kind of car, ain't it?
He carries a genuine modesty, or is it a quiet confidence from never having faced a job he couldn't tackle? His labors filled basic needs, like the need for water and the need for food.
I dug a well down there, 53 feet and 8 inches deep.
What'd you dig it with?
A pick and a shovel, and made a ladder to reach to the bottom of it and plastered it. I put this thing in here about 46 and started grinding corn.
You make a pretty good meal?
Well, everybody says it's all right. I like it.
Did you ever make any whiskey?
Yes, sir.
Did
I
that
can
too, huh?
answer that quick, and I remember that good. That whiskey deal, that was fun. Of course, they make them now with power steering, four-wheel drive, and all modern stuff, you know, with a big cab on them and air conditioners. You burn up on this thing. After drinking that dust.
Levi still works the land, tending his ginseng patch.
You there, making berries? Yeah, I used to dig it out of the woods. I've dug all this and bring it in here and set the root out.
You reckon I could do the same kind of work today you could?
No. You waited too late to start.
I guess so.
Would you know how to dig coal?
Not really.
Well, you could learn. Just lay right down here and start pecking on it with a pick and dig way back under and drill your hole up here and then shoot it down and load it.
Whatever the job, Levi has always been a quick study.
Now you walking right into the doggone camera, right straight in it. See what he done?
Did you have to do everything the hard way?
That's all we were knowed. The hard way.
He slowed down just a bit. Doesn't seem to shave very often anymore. Where does a man like this fit in today? Wherever he wants to, because men like Levi Collins will always be able to make their own place in this world.
Ain't that something?
We'll return with the story of an unusual people and later revisit a deadly night during the flood of 1929. For years, they have shied from their history, but recently a shift in attitude has occurred. Melungeons have developed a hunger for knowledge of who they are and what roads their ancestors traveled. Our land's hollows and ridges hide many secrets, none more completely than the true identity of an isolated, dark-skinned mountain people known as the Melungeons.
Had a very distinctive look, dark hair typically, often blue eyes, even with the dark hair, the darker skin, and in the summer would tan very, very deeply and darkly. And yet we claimed to be pure Scots-Irish.
Until recently, Brent Kennedy's own Melungeon roots were a family secret. But he, along with others, are finding evidence to support a promising theory. The theory that the Melungeons descended from Spanish and Portuguese soldiers in Juan Pardo's expedition, and that in 1566, they came to settle what is now the southeastern United States. Historical researcher Eloy Gallegos translated accounts of Pardo's expeditions. He says Pardo's soldiers were a varied ethnic mix who sought a better life, new lands in the place they called La Florida.
Combination of Portuguese, Spanish, a Berber, Arab, a Sephardic Jew, if you will, and Native American.
The soldiers established 4 forts that were to serve as way stations for an overland route from Pensacola, Florida to the Atlantic coast, safer passage than by Gulf waters riddled with pirates and reefs. In time, the forts were abandoned and the Spanish intermarried with Native Americans.
Probably they felt they were not totally Indian, nor were they totally European anymore, and they probably tended to gravitate, to pull together, to marry within the community, and to seek lands that weren't already occupied.
But in the 1700s, their dark skin and unwelcome presence in English territory brought on persecution. They were denied the right to hold land.
The man had one alternative, to just move further back up on the ridge.
The Melungeons kept moving to the most remote mountain regions. Today, the largest concentrations, presumed in the thousands, remain in southeastern Kentucky, southwest Virginia, and East Tennessee. Their names are English versions of those on Spanish muster lists.
Collins, Colinas, Mullins, Molinar, Chavez, Chavis, Goins, Goyens, Osborne, Osberno, Moore, Moreno.
Historically, to be a Melungeon has invited the deepest scorn, such as Brent Kennedy's great-grandmother knew in southwest Virginia.
But they were castigated. She couldn't vote, her husband couldn't vote, her children couldn't vote, they couldn't attend school. 3 of those children were murdered.
The features of the first Melungeons of 400 years ago can be seen in the faces of people like Brent Kennedy's relatives. The search for roots reveals long-lost connections.
I have a great uncle, Canera. Canera is the name of a small village in northern Portugal, and also the name of one of Juan Pardo's monks.
A simple phone call to the Portuguese embassy led Brent closer to his hidden heritage.
He said it is spelled Malungo, variations on it, but M-E-L-U-N-G-O, but he said in Portuguese it's pronounced Melungeon.
Perhaps genetic research going on now will prove the Melungeons' origins, but already the Melungeons have an undeniable claim to a long and proud ancestry. Melungeons have wanted acceptance. Their heritage is now a source of pride. For veterinarian Doc Butler, his pride comes in the healthy animals on his rounds, and he's made many rounds in his life as a country vet.
They can't tell us, but I'm sure the animals, they have feelings, because
He likes to be called a country vet. After all, that's how he began. 30 years ago, when Knox County was mostly farmland. And as farmland becomes scarcer, so do men like Dr. William Butler, who still travels over 700 miles a week making house calls.
Hello, Doctor.
He treats everything from horses to hamsters.
you got to go now. Not one way to go, and that's out.
What's going on here?
We put a tattoo in their ear. Permanent identification.
His father was called a country quack, a man who doctored animals before you were able to make a living at it. At the age of 6, Dr. Butler began to learn the trade. His assignment, a hog in labor.
My dad's hand, his hand was too big to deliver the pigs, and I was along, and he said, let him try it. So I took my hand in and pulled out the pigs. Yeah, okay, we're gonna practice to check these cows?
We got about 14 to do today.
Dr. Butler works from dawn to dusk, and even then his work isn't done. He's on call 24 hours a day, and almost every night the phone rings.
If it means all night, if it needs, something needs to be done, it needs to be done.
She was open 30 days ago. You want to check her or just run her?
But we've checked her, she could have been early then. And
Okay.
she's 50 day.
Okay.
45, 50 day pregnancy. How's the cow we saw the other night? Had the Dallas grass. Is she about over and over?
She's back over.
What do you do when you're relaxing?
Go up the farm, sit around and look at the animals.
How many animals do you have?
Hey, I've got around between 150 and 60 cattle right now. I've got 3 sows and 26 pigs and 11 fat hogs and 1 boar.
And chickens?
Yeah, it'd be hard to count them. I say 150 chickens.
Turkeys?
I believe it's 9 turkeys.
Goats?
8 or 10 goats.
You got some dogs?
We got, well, the clinic dogs and all, we probably got 10 to 12 or 15 maybe. Charlie's our pet bull. We delivered him and he was freezing, so we brought him back to the clinic, and when he was about 3 months old, I took him away from the clinic and took him to the farm. I went back that night to check on him. His whole face was wet with tears. We'd stand there crying. I opened the passenger door and he climbed right up in the truck and rode home with me. Sometimes I think some animals, especially your dogs and your pets, show more compassion than some people. Not many people get up at 3 o'clock in the morning and go with you when you're going out on call.
Next, a night of terror and heroism during the flood of '29. In a moment of terror, they reach out to each other. Their terror and tragedy are forever a part of the memory of Rockwood. Along Highway 27, south of Rockwood, by the James T. Wright Bridge, stands an old monument often overlooked. It's for a scoutmaster and 7 of his boys. It was March 22nd, 1929. The weather was strange. 60 degrees with threatening skies. 3 inches of rain were about to fall. Who could foresee that Little White's Creek would rise to 600 feet across? Tom Douglas was one of the youngest on that star-crossed camping trip 65 years ago, the night the heavens opened up and washed Troop 45 to Kingdom Come.
But I'll tell you, when that house left, us boys were scared.
Mama didn't want the boys to go.
But Mary Crabtree's twin brothers, Fred and Ed Burnett, insisted.
Of course, they wanted to go, probably, because they were scouts. and they wanted to be, with all the rest of them.
It was pouring the rain. Sometime in the morning I woke up and laid my hand out of the cot and got it in water. A lot of people said I'd have got out if I'd been there. I said, yeah, you'd done just like we did. You'd have climbed up on the rooftop. And it wasn't funny. That's what we done, all of it.
As the creek rose, debris took the bridge out. Then the cabin started to move.
I reckon it moved a little more. And then the next time it just made it almost a half a ton getting out in the creek.
The house was torn apart. Scoutmaster Jim Wright tried to save them.
When it broke up, right when it left, 2 or 3 boys fell in the water, and Jim Wright jumped in there to get them, and he never was seen anymore.
Water, whole trees and drifts sent Troop 45 tumbling down White's Creek. Willie Evans clung to his half-brother Tom.
Last tree we went up, and I grabbed hold of a twig and stopped, and Willie was right there, and my half-brother was with me. I said, Willie, I don't believe I'm going to make it. Just tell them all I said goodbye.
People had gathered on the railroad trestle and could hear their screams. By late afternoon, rescuers had navigated to reach the boys. Many were injured. Tom suffered a compound fracture and spent 7.5 months in the hospital. He was lucky.
I forget who found Fred, but it was 3 or 4 days before they found him.
Why?
Well, he was fastened under some brush.
How old were they?
They were 15.
For saving the lives of Tom and Jack Hamby, Willie Evans received the Boy Scout Medal of Honor.
You ever think of those boys that didn't make it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do. I don't know how anybody got out of that outfit.
The 1929 floods were catastrophic, but in Rockwood, it's a more personal tragedy. Across a lifetime, Tom Douglas still ponders the unanswerable question.
Why do you think you lived through that?
I don't know. I wonder about it. I just wonder why I'm here today.
We'd like to think there's a bit of the heroic within us. Fortunately, most of us never have a tragedy like the Whites Creek flood thrust upon us. Rather, how we face the small daily decisions become our legacy. See you folks next week.
These old horses know exactly what to do, don't they? I don't think they're